While there are many advantages to genetically modified plants, there are also plenty of disadvantages involved, which can quite easily destroy all those advantages and make genetically modified foods a very big issue. And one of those problems is the health risks that may be involved. They can be very cancer involved products because of the fact that the testing on rats and such, mice, typical lab animals with these foods, they have gotten plenty of intestinal cancers, stuff like that. And it's also really unpredictable as far as what can happen to it. It's just that if factor. That if something good happens or if something bad happens, there's always that if something bad happens. And many people do not like the fact that there is an if something bad happens involved, which is why it's such a big controversy as of right now. And it's also an environmental hazard because it can disrupt food chains and such. So let's say corn or something like that for genetically modified plants will be added to the farms, and the bugs and stuff that feed off of the corn will not be able to eat it anymore because the plant has a way to fend it off. And then the bugs, they will die off or they will migrate because there's no food for them to eat. Well then, whatever eats those bugs can't eat anything anymore. And then whatever eats that will not be able to eat anymore. It causes a big chain reaction, and it can wipe out the whole food chain, or it can disrupt it to the point at which it's very difficult to live off of it, and people in the area will have difficulty living off of anything but that genetically modified food in the first place. It also can cause soil nutrition values to vary. So for instance, the legumes that were used to in southeast United States to replenish the nutrition lost from plants such as corn and lettuce and other other plants that were used during that time that were very popular. They replaced all those nutrients, and GM foods can probably cause a problem that unfortunately things like peanuts won't be able to solve. But we'll also, and even if there is one, we'll have to come up with a reason for that, or reason to fix it, and how we fix it. And it'll cause this large starvation amount, at least for that food. And the genes taken to create these genetically modified plants can also pass on to other plants from crossing on the roots. So for instance, a common yardweed or something like that can combine and then inherit that gene from the plant, give it to its seeds, and it will spread in the weeds, and they won't be able to, let's say, be killed by pesticides as easily. And pesticides are one of the main ways that we kill weeds as of right now. So it would be a very big problem as far as having weeds all over the yard rather than grass. And aside from the environmental standpoint, economics will show that it's very expensive to research, and all the research that's been put into it, hundreds of millions, billions, maybe even trillions of dollars worldwide across the board, stuff like that. All that money has just barely been that touch of genetically modified foods. It's still so controversial because there's so little information about it, but we've already spent so much money on researching it that it's becoming a drain on our economy. And those are the disadvantages.